Hi and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Can I have a quick +1 in the chat if I'm visible as well as equally audible? And we would start right away. Okay. So let me just check. Okay. Okay, fair enough. I'm fairly visible as well as equally audible. Just let me float this. Okay, fair enough. Put this. Can I have a quick +1? Okay. Hey Satyabrat, hey Nilesh, how are you? Okay, so 33%. Who are the lucky 33%? कौन है भाई? Okay, fair enough. That was just for fun. Let us just proceed with the class itself. Okay, today we would be doing a very interesting topic, okay, which is termed as one of the hardest topic in programming. That is known as dynamic programming. Just a disclaimer before starting. सर आपने किया? अरे भाई दुखती रग पे हाथ मत रखिए सर. Okay, just a just a disclaimer before this. If you are not well versed with recursion, okay, if you are not well versed with recursion, go back, consider learning recursion. Now many people would ask me that how to learn recursion. Just read the basic fundamentals, learn to think recursively, learn to write base cases, then moving forward go with backtracking, then go with trees, then go with linked list, and you would be done with that. Then you need to come with dynamic programming. Okay, now we would be directly seeing a relation that dynamic programming is just an optimization over a recursion. So what is basically a dynamic programming? Optimization, okay, over plain recursion. Just this is dynamic programming. Moving forward, there is a saying that this is a saying of dynamic programming: those who don't remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Okay, just read and remember this line, and we would be moving forward and we would be seeing the underlying reason why this is called so. Okay, fair enough. So we would start with simple problems, then we would be doing a taking and not considering and considering problem, then we would be moving to subset sum problem and knapsack DP01 knapsack problem. But we would also talk about fractional knapsack problem. Okay, fair enough. So moving forward with this thing, now suppose I ask you that fib of 0, suppose this is a Fibonacci series where the first term is 0 and the next term is 1, and the third term would be the addition of the previous two terms. So this one would be 0 plus 1, that is 1. Now this one would be 1 plus 1, that is 2. This one would be 3, 1 plus 2, and this one would be 2 plus 3, that is 5. Fair enough, fairly simple enough. Just 0 and 1 is already defined, and the third one would be the previous two terms, addition of previous two terms. And so we can write the recursive relation as fib of n is equal to fib of I minus 1 plus fib of I minus 2, which is fairly very simple to understand, and it's very clear, to be honest. Okay, now writing the base case is now very easy because we have already discussed this problem in the previous sessions, okay, while we were doing recursion. Okay, I gave you a taste of dynamic programming, but many were not able to understand, and I told that it's completely fine. As we proceed forward, we would be getting a hang of it. Okay, now this is the time when you would be getting a hang of it. Okay, so the recursive would be, we would be returning what? We would be returning the answer. The answer would be in integer. So we would simply write that the return type would be an integer. So just let us directly code it. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Now we would be returning the integer value. So we would be writing int of fib, and I would be taking a number int n, and the sample test cases would be f of 0. If it is 0, it would be return 1. If it is 1, it would return 1. Okay, so if n is equals to 0, okay, so we would say that return 0. If n is equals to 1, that is not 0, then it would return 1. Then if it is not that case, then the answer would be int answer is equals to fib of n minus 1 plus fib of n minus 2. That is the sum of previous two terms. Take out the answer and return me the sum of that, and then we would be just returning this answer. Now just to be sure, I would be taking an input of n, then I would be doing the cin of n, and then I would be doing cout of fib of this particular n itself. So let us just see what are the cases. The first one is for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So for the fifth term, the value is 5 itself. Okay, fair enough. So let me give the value 5. Congratulations Harsha brother. Okay, mithai khilao. Okay, fair enough. Okay, this is the point where we are able to know that we are getting the correct answer. Okay, now moving forward with the next thing. The next thing is that we can say, okay, we need to memoize. What do you mean by memoize? Okay, you would be hearing a lot of things about memoization, but what is basically a memoization? Okay, memoization is nothing. I just drew the recursion tree in the past. I remember in the recursion one that we are computing the particular value of a particular number. So a particular value is calculated again and again. Okay, let me just refresh your mind with this a bit. Okay, so fib of 3 is equal to fib of 2 plus fib of 1. Now fib of 1 would return me what? 1. Fib of 2 would again go to fib of 1 and then fib of 0. Fib of 0 would return me 0, fib of 1 would return me 1. Now 0 plus 1 is equals to 1 and 1 plus 1 is equals to 2, and this would return true. So we can see that for this, see, fib of 1 is calculated once, fib of 1 is again calculated once, and if you just draw the recursion tree for a large value, you would come to know that we are doing repetitions. We are computing the value of a particular number again and again. Okay, fair enough. So what we need to do is, memo means what? Memo means a memo book. So we would remember. Okay, remember the past. Okay, suppose you can remember this memoization as your ex-girlfriend. So you need to remember the chapters that have been taught by your ex-girlfriend, and you need to be cautious from the next time. The same thing we would do. So suppose the particular value, see the value for the base cases is just returning. So returning takes big of one time. So we won't be considering it, but you can consider it if you want. Now we would be going in the 10th line. Now what we would do is we would first check if the value is already calculated or not. Okay, so we would need to save the values. Okay, so basically to save the values we need to have a memo book kind of thing where we would write the things. Okay, to write the things we need to have the count of the number of pages of that particular book. To have the count of the pages of the particular book we need to have the range. Now we need to see which value is changing. So this is known as parameters. Okay, so this n, this is a dynamic variable. Now we would check the range of n. Suppose the range is given as 0 of n to 10 to the power 5. Then what we would do is, as it is 0 indexed, so we would simply have an array named as dp. dp क्यों? अच्छा लगता है देखने में. Okay, लगता बहुत जान गए. Okay, fair enough. So just we would write it here as dp of 1 e5 plus 1, that is 10 to the power 5 plus 1. And then what we would do is we would memset it to -1. Every value is -1 initially. So initially एक book खरीदेंगे. Okay, so initially we would first, okay, just let me do 10 to the power 5 only. Okay, initially we would buy a book. Okay, so const int n is equal to 1e5 plus 1, and then what we would do is we would have, yeah, fair enough. Now suppose initially एक book लेंगे. Okay, suppose a book is taken initially and all the pages, okay, initially are blank. Okay, we have not written anything. So first what we are doing is we are making each pages blank. Here in programming terms we are making every value as -1 initially. So memset of dp comma -1 comma size of dp. Okay, fair enough. Size of dp. Now this value sets everything to -1. We would check if the value is -1. This means that if the particular page has not been used. Hey Gaurav, how are you? So if dp of n is not equal to -1, that is, this value is already pre-computed. So we would simply write dp of this particular n. Else what we would do is just before returning the answer we would save it. We would just note it down. So dp of n is equals to the value answer. Simply, and let us again check the value. Okay, fair enough. So what did we learn? Let us have a quick recap of whatever we have learned. We have learned that dp is nothing but a optimization over plain recursion. Then we heard a line from Siddharth Hazra that those who don't remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Here in programming terms, we saw that when we draw the recursion tree, we are computing the answer for a particular value multiple number of times. To remove those duplicacy, what we are doing is we are buying a book. Okay, so basically what we are doing is we are in a relationship with a girlfriend and she dumped me. I learned some lessons and then what I did was I wrote them in a pen and paper. Now suppose the lessons have already been learned, then we are returning that lesson. Why to go in that situation again? If that lesson is not learned and we have not experienced it, we are calculating and then we are saving the answer and then we are returning the answer. This is to reset the value everything as -1. That is, we are making a fresh start. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so now let's have an upper bound to a waiting queue and then we would see what can we do. Countdown of 1 minute seems absolutely fine. Just read and tell me if things are clear to you or not. Bro, who put survey in chat? I did it. बड़ा बोरिंग लगता है लाइफ में, इसीलिए थोड़ा. Hey, hey Satyam, how are you? So tell me if things are clear to you or not. Okay, Gaurav Kumar saw things are clear to you. Now, may I have more replies from you, because the reply count is absolutely very less. So moving forward, जो पोल में यस बोल रहे हैं सब झूठ बोल रहे हैं तो हाँ, पॉइंट है, पॉइंट है, पॉइंट है सत्यव्रत. है नवाब, हाउ आर यू? Thanks a lot, Lalit, by the way. Okay, fair enough. This is how we are proceeding. Now, so suppose you are given a DP question. Now, how to approach a question in DP? So you would be given a DP question. The first approach that you would be using is you would be writing the recursive approach of that. Then what you would be doing is you would be writing 2 lines and you would be memoizing it. Then what is known as real DP? But this was not real DP. So what is real DP is? Real DP is nothing but tabulation. Tabulation. Okay, tabulation. Now, there are tabulation versus memoization. Now, if memoization is there, now tabulation versus memoization is absolutely the same thing. So first we would see what is tabulation, and the next what we would do is we would understand the difference and why do we need 2 techniques and when to consider what. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so we would learn the difference between them. So tabulation is nothing but creating a table and filling it. Filling it. So basically ये तो हम लोग memoization भी कर रहे थे. But here do it iteratively. We need to do it iteratively. Okay, this is what you need to do. Okay, तो we need एक टेबल बनाएंगे, उसको फिल करेंगे. बट ये तो मेमोराइजेशन में भी किया था, बट यहाँ पे विदाउट रिकर्शन करना है. ओके, so now whenever you see a DP problem, the first thing that you need to do is solve it using recursion, then memoize, okay, and then write iterative DP. Okay, by the way, why should we write memoization and recursion? Absolutely, just write the recursive only. Memoization you can skip to, but writing the recursive and then iterative solves your problem a lot. Okay, you don't need to don't jump directly to iterative DP, otherwise you would leave that. Okay, so first learn to think recursively, and I would tell you that if you just write the recursion one, then writing the iterative is damn easy. Okay, now I would be telling you some set of rules and regulations that is to be followed. Okay, so जो base cases है, base cases is equal to fill previous. What do I mean by this? The base cases that we are giving it should be filled previous only before we do the calculation. So let us do that as Siddharth said. Okay, so next we come down and we do what? We do dp of 0. See, 0. So dp of 0 is equals to 0 and dp of 1 is also equals to 1. We do this. Then see, now it is absolutely very easy. See, n minus 1, suppose this is n. Okay, this is n plus 1, इस side बढ़ेगा, and this is n minus 1, and this is n minus 2, and this is n plus 2. Basically, the main thing that you need to do is you need to iterate over n. But to iterate over n, there are many ways to iterate over n. Okay, and we need to see and verify if the particular way to traverse is correct or not. See, from n we are jumping backward. Okay, we are jumping backward. So what we need to do is, if we start from start and then we jump this side, so the value we are jumping back should be already computed. मतलब जिधर जंप लगा रहे हैं वो ऑलरेडी कंप्यूट हो जाना चाहिए. ओके, सो बस इतना याद रखना कि जिधर जंप लगा रहे हैं वो ऑलरेडी प्री कंप्यूटेड रहना चाहिए. ओके, फेयर इनफ. So if n minus 1 is to be pre-computed before n, then we should start from low value and we should move towards high value. So what we would do is 0 and 1 is already calculated. So what we would do is int I is equals to 2 and I is less than equal to n, and then less than equal to n, and then I plus plus. Now what we would do is we would just write the same thing that we have written in the recursion. dp of n minus 1 plus dp of n minus 2. So dp of this particular I is equals to dp of n minus 1 plus dp of n minus 2. So basically this is not n because we are using I. So basically we would change n to I and then we would print dp of n. dp of n is now done. Now we would not call this fib. Okay, and let us see if we are getting the output 5 or not. Okay, and then we would learn the difference and then we would learn up everything. But seeing which side we should go is absolutely very necessary. Okay, fair enough. Let us just quickly see it. Okay, yes, we are getting the correct output. So basically what we did was we first saw how we are filling up the values. Okay, next all the base cases needs to be filled previously. We did that. Then whatever condition is written here, write the same condition here. dp of n minus 1 is replaced with dp of I minus 1. dp of n minus 2 is replaced with dp of I minus 2. And then we are returning dp of n. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let me just see the chat and tell me if things are clear to you or not. Now we would learn differences between tabulation and memoization. Okay. Hey Nawab, hey Satyam, most welcome Satyam. Recursive, memoization and then tabulation. Yes. Introduce array to reduce overlapping subproblems. Tabulation turning d into n minus 1 array. Yes, absolutely great. Okay. So now we would build up a table and we would see what is the difference between tabulation and bro. One question. Yes, quickly tell me. Okay. I would just write memo. Does in CPP the array is automatically filled with minus 1? No. See, I am telling you. So if we declare, see first, so if we declare an array globally, then it is already filled with 0. If we declare an array locally inside the main function or in another function, then it might have garbage value, it might have 0 value. It depends upon the compiler. Okay, it depends upon absolutely upon the compiler. Okay, fair enough. This is the thing. That's why we like to use memset a lot. But if you initialize vector, then the initial value would be 0, but not minus 1 would never be the case. Okay, MBBS भी किया है bro. Handwriting देख के लग रहा. Yeah, my handwriting is absolutely very bad. Okay, fair enough. So let's proceed. What is memoization? Memoization is optimization over recursion, and recursion uses stack memory. So recursion uses stack memory. Okay, iterative, no memory. Okay, no memory means that the array is required for both, but we are seeing the difference as of now. So iterative doesn't uses any memory, but the recursion uses stack memory. Okay, now the next difference is the next difference is iterative is kind of, it gives a flavor. Okay, it gives a deep understanding of why DP is working. Okay, so basically this is the main difference. But if you are only preparing for placements, okay, if you're only preparing for placements or coding for fun, okay, placements, then writing recursion plus memoization is absolutely very enough. But if you are preparing for competitive programming or for IOI or ICPC, then you need to consider iterative. Now, one more thing is that suppose you are learning binary lifting, suppose you are learning Floyd-Warshall, then there is no iterative implementation of that. So in that way, you would face a little bit of difficulty, okay, because many problems has a flavor of DP and mostly iterative DP flavor is there. So consider learning iterative after learning the memoization. After a certain period of time, you would be directly able to write the iterative version of it. Okay, no, my handwriting. But एक बात बताओ, when I was in my sixth standard, my handwriting is absolutely very bad in my family. My mother has a very good handwriting. My sister has a very good handwriting. Me and my sister has an age gap of 3 years, and we both gave a competition. Okay, writing competition. And then what happened was she didn't get the prize. Okay, but I got the prize. And I don't know if you know that or not, but we have a saying in Hindi that कौवा के जैसे लिखते हैं, मतलब I write just like a crow. Okay, so my handwriting is so bad, but still I got the first prize, and still my parents laugh at that incident. Okay, fair enough. So I think things should be clear, things should be at place. Okay, so now this is the optimal. So basically these are the things that we have learned, and then we would learn the knapsack problem. So basically, what is a knapsack problem? Knapsack problem is nothing but we would be given, what is basically a knapsack? A knapsack is a kind of a thala. Okay, kind of thala thing you can say. Okay, now suppose this thala can have 50 kg of weights. Okay, so you need to assign weights to this thala such that we have the maximum value of it. Okay, सपोज एक थैला जिसमें 10 kg का कैपेसिटी है, तो सपोज आलू लिया 10 रुपए किलो, खीरा लिया 20 रुपए किलो. ओके, so the amount that we are getting after stacking it in the knapsack, that should be the maximum. You need to maximize this thing. Okay, now one more thing is that you can either take a value or you don't take a value, but you can't take a fraction of it. A fraction of that value is not applicable. Okay, either take the whole of it or you don't take it. Suppose the weight is 10 kg, then there is no option to take just 1 kg, then there is no option to take 2 kgs of this thing. Okay, so you need to take the whole of it. Okay, now tell me if things are clear to you or not. That is nothing to be there is nothing to congratulate, because I still laugh at that incident. Okay, so just take a little bit of time, grow that appetite, and then we would be moving forward with the explanation of this, and then you would be understanding this. Okay, so let's have a countdown of 2 minutes. This timer I would reset it for 2 minutes. Wait. Max is equal to 300, that is 60 into 5. No. We can take a value only once, or once or we don't take the value. We can't take the same value again and again. This is not applicable. मतलब अगर सोचो 10 किलो आलू है तो आइदर पूरा 10 किलो लेना होगा, पहला कंडीशन. दूसरा कंडीशन, एक आलू को हम लोग एक ही बार ले सकते हैं, मतलब एक बार यूज कर लिया तो वो इट गेट एग्जॉस्टेड. ये तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट क्यों लग रहा है? या इट इज अ लिटिल बिट डिफिकल्ट टू बी ऑनेस्ट, बट सी there are a set of ways to solve a DP problem. So if you just understand all the ways that is known as states in DP, so you would be able to relate that with any problem. Okay, question is clear. Okay, Satyabharat, Lalit, the question is clear to you or not? Ritik, Satyam, Nilesh, Nawab, Gaurav, Eric, tell me if things are clear to you or not. Okay, thanks a lot, Lalit. Okay, Viva, thanks a lot. Okay, fair enough. So this is done till this point. Okay, so we now know that we can take a particular thing only once. So what are the conditions? I would still write the condition once again because the problem is a bit confusing. Okay, so can be taken only once and then take whole of it. Okay, these are the only two conditions that you need to respect. Okay, now suppose the weight is 50. Okay, now so for this the answer is 220, 120. The 220 how? 100 plus 120. This is the value that is coming. But how is this possible? How is this solution possible? Okay, how is this possible? So basically what we are doing is for a particular thing we can either take or we ignore. Okay, for every possible, no, first thing is that we try every possible ways. Try every possible ways. The first thing is that we would try every possible way because there is no definite way in which this can be solved. Why this is true? Why we need to try every possible way? Okay, there should be a definite way to solve this problem. So let us just consider that what we would do is, suppose this is 10 plus 20, 10, 20 and 30. So basically what we can do is we can sort this value, or we can sort according to the value, and then whatever has the maximum value we would take it. Simple. Yes, so we would take 120 plus 100 and we are getting the value. But this is not true. Why this is not true? I would show you a case. This is not true when we have something like this, 70. Okay, then we have 50 and then we have 50. Okay, then suppose the weight is 1, 2 and 3. So now suppose we take the largest value. Suppose this is the value. Okay, and this is the weight. Okay, and now suppose the weight is 10 that we can accommodate in the knapsack. Now what we can do is we can simply sort it according to the value that we have just discussed. जो सबसे ज़्यादा value रखता है उसको उठा लो. Simple है भाई. So we would take this value. Okay, suppose this is 100. So we would simply take up this value, or let's remove the constraint weight. Now suppose we can take the values up to 100. Okay, suppose the value is only 100 and we need to take some values and fill it. Now suppose we take the value 70. Then after taking the value 70, 30 would remain. Now this 50 is greater than 30, we can't take it. This is also greater than 30, we can't take it. So according to the taking the largest value, the maximum profit that we can make out of this is 70. But as we can observe, the maximum profit can be drawn out by taking 50 and 50. Okay, so just tell me if you are getting this way or not. Why are we considering every possible case and we are not following a definite way to solve this problem? See, the only definite way that is clearly visible is that we take the largest value and we would say that largest value that we can accommodate till, and we would exit it from that point. Okay, but this is not working. That is why we need to go to try all possible combination. Okay, कब तक live होगा ये class? This live would continue till 11:30. Okay, we would talk about it. Okay, so tell me if things are clear to you or not. Why? Yes, greedy solution will not work. Yes, that's great, Lalit. May I have more people, because Lalit was already well accustomed with this dynamic programming. That is why I can't rely on Lalit's reply. So may I have more people? I don't consider having a timer again. Still, let's have a quick timer of 1 minute and then we would proceed. So quickly tell me if you are able to understand why this greedy kind of thing won't work, but we need to try every possible way. Okay, let's wait for 30 seconds only because we have absolutely less time and I want you to get the maximum out of it. Okay, fair enough. This is we would end here. Okay, this is quite a good proof that we need to try every possible way. Then what we need to do is either take or leave. Okay, so we can either take a value or we leave a particular value. Okay, now suppose we have the same thing. Okay, we have the same thing, that is 70, and then we have 50, and then we have 50. Okay, so now what we can do is we are at the first 70. So if we take this 70, if we take up this 70, then we would have the value as 70. If we don't take up this 70, this is take, this is don't. Okay, this is yes and this is no. We don't take up this value. If we don't take up 70, then the value we are able to get till this point is 0. Then we come to 50. So if we include 50 to 70, then what is the value that we are able to get? 70 plus 50 is equals to 120. So we would get 120. Now for this, if we don't take this value, the 70 would remain at its position only. Okay, this would be 120. If we take then this 50, then 0 plus 50 would become 50. If we don't take this 50, this would become 0. Okay, now for the third index also we have two options for each. Okay, take up this 50. If we take up this 50, this would become 170. If we don't take up this 50, then this would remain 120. If we take up this 50, then this would become 120. If we don't take up this 50, this would remain 70. If we take up this 50, this would become 100. If we don't take, this would remain 50. 0 plus 50 is equals to 50. If we don't take, that would be 0 only. So basically what are the values that we are able to get? 170, 120, 120, 70, 100, 50, 50 and 0. Basically these are the values. Now the resultant value that we have decided was 100. So we would simply check the value which is maximum but less than 100. So this is more than 100, this is more than 100, this is more than 100, this is less than. So till now we have the value as 70. Then we have 100, which is greater than 70, but less than equal to 100. So we would update it. Then we have 50, which is less than 100, we won't update it. Less than 100, we won't update it. Less than 0, we won't update it. So basically for each index we have two conditions, okay, either to take that value or either to not take that value. Okay, we have this. Now the next thing that we need to do is a little bit of optimization. That suppose we already know, okay, from this point of time only, okay, that this particular value is exceeding the value that we need. So अगर अगर बचपन में ही बच्चे हमारे लक्षण के ना रहे तो हम उन पे मेहनत क्यों करें? Okay, fair enough. Okay, or suppose your girlfriend, we already know that your girlfriend is cheated, so why you should be in a relationship with her for the future? That is the same thing goes here also. So if you already know that the current value has exceeded, then even if you take further values or even if you don't take further values, we don't care, but the value is already greater, so we would stop at this point only. So this point would stop at that point and we won't consider going forward. Okay, and this small optimization would save a lot of memory. Yes, yeah, Lalit, that's absolutely true. There could be too many exceptions. Why not greedy is okay, yeah. Greedy always take max and does not look for the possibility. Yes. We salam for the example. Okay, fair enough. Thanks a lot. Okay, so quickly tell me if things are clear to you. Okay. Okay. So fair enough till this point, I hope. Okay. तो till अच्छा उससे भी भयंकर सोचो कि जब एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ तो खुद नहीं हंसता हूँ. क्रेडिट. Okay, fair enough. So till this point we are able to understand. Now what we can do is we need to just check the value. Okay. होना चाहिए, बस जिंदा होना चाहिए ना. Okay, fair enough. Now let us directly start coding it. Okay. Now suppose we are given what do we need to return. Okay, so just by observing the recursion tree we can tell. So we need to return a value which is in the form of integer. So basically the return type should be int, and I would just write rec. Okay, fair enough. Now what are the things that we need to compute a particular variable? Okay, the things that we need at this particular position is, okay, we need to know we are at which position, first, second, third. Okay, so we want the position. So basically this is nothing but the index. Position is the index. And next what we need to do is we need to have this value. Okay, so this value we don't need to compute. Okay, this value is there. And what else do we want? Suppose we take this value or we don't take this value. Okay, and we would increment. So first let us take this with this position only. Okay, so now we would have index as ind. Okay, so now we would stop at which position? I said that we would stop when we would reach the end. So basically when the index is at this point we need to end. So if I is equal to the size of the element, if index is equals to the last after the last index, then we would return 0. That it is not possible. Okay, and the next is that if the particular weight, or we would don't consider it only. Okay, fair enough. Now the next thing that we need. Okay. So we either take up this value or we don't take up this value. So we have two options. But in both the cases, in either ways, we need to move forward. We take up this we take up this particular thing, and we either we take up or we don't take up. Suppose either I would suppose a girlfriend, Julius proposed a, suppose a boy proposed to a girl. So either the girl can accept. So if the girl can accept, if the girl will accept, she would move forward with the other boy. So if, so first condition is int answer is equals to answer of 1 is, or answer 1 is equals to rec of ind plus 1. Okay, ind plus 1, we would move forward. Okay, and then what value would be added in the same thing? We would say a array of ind. Okay, and then answer 2 is equals to rec of ind plus 1 plus a plus this only. Okay, these is 2. Now whatever would bring us the maximum value, that would be our current variable. We would say answer int answer is equals to max of ans1 comma ans2, and then we would return this particular answer. Okay, now what we would do is, if a of ind is a of ind this value, or we don't consider it for as of now because optimization is not as of need as of now, so we would return this answer itself. Okay, we would do this. Now what do we need to do? We need to memoize this. Okay, this was the recursive implementation. Now when you would solve the real knapsack problem, you won't be able to solve it using this way. Why? Because we have a thing known as value and weight. So we need to, you need to add weight to the parameter, and the value would be returned. Okay, so we don't have the weight thing now, we just have the value to make things simple. Now we would see and observe what is changing here, what is dynamic here. We can see the parameters ind is dynamic. So ind would move from where to where? The ind would move from 0 to n minus 1. So we would simply have a dp array of int dp of n plus 1. Okay, just I like to have it, okay, let's not have it, dp of n. Okay, and we would memset it everything with minus 1. And then what we would do is, if dp of ind is not equal to minus 1, we would return dp of ind. Else what we would do is, just before returning whatever is the value, dp of ind is equals to this answer, and we would return it. Okay, and now we can see that we are able to memoize it. Okay, so recursion is not complete because we didn't pass array in recursive function. Okay, so see, the thing is that we are just, we have a time constraint. Okay, I need to sleep too, I need to catch up work tomorrow, you also have the thing. If I just keep streaming for 5 hours straight, neither you or nor me will have the capacity to do that. So basically I am preferring quality over quantity. How? I'm telling you. See, passing the arrays, taking the input can be done by you. The first question was done fully. So passing the arrays and taking the parameters and taking these all things can be done by you. So I'm just skipping those. Okay, I'm focusing on the things which you don't know, so that you take a lot of things home and you would be amazed to know that I have learned so many things in just 1 hour. That is why I am trying to do this. Okay, so सबको समझ में आया? देखो, ओके भाई, तो छुपा रुस्तम हो सर, प्रीवियस वीडियोस देखने में दिक्कत आती है. बाय द वे, the thing is that you just enroll in this course and you would be able to get the previous. And if you're not able to get it, join the Telegram group. Just send me a text in LinkedIn, so search the name Siddharth Hazra, I would provide you with the link. Just go to the link and whenever you want, just ask it here. Okay, fair enough. I hope things are clear to you. एक आगे बढ़ते हैं अब. We are done with the memoization. So recursion plus memoization is now done. Now see, the last problem what was there is we were skipping from n to n minus 1. So we started the loop from 0 to n. We did that. Okay. Now we can see that suppose this is n minus 1, this is n, and this is n plus 1. Now the first thing that you need to do is you need to write the base cases. So basically, how would we write the base cases? We would write dp of n is equal to 0. So dp of n would be equal to 0. We have from this base case. This won't be there, we know that. Now comes the part where we want this. Okay, or let's write 100, or we just let me remove all the errors. Okay, yeah, now all the errors should have been gone. Yeah, all the errors have been gone. Okay, and okay, let us just write int n is equals to 1, or just as of now to remove the errors. Okay, so see, the base case have already been written. Okay, this is the memoization part which is not required. Next, what I told was we need to see we are going in which direction. So this is n minus 1, this is n, and this is n plus 1. And we are from n, we are moving, we are getting the value of n plus 1. So basically the n plus 1 should be pre-calculated. So if n plus 1 comes before n, so अगर 5 4 के पहले आएगा, this is 5, this is 4, अगर 5 4 के पहले आएगा, so we need to go from 5 to 4, then we would always get the pre-computed value, and you need to take care of this. So what, see, n is already calculated, so n का तो हमें टेंशन लेना नहीं है. So what we would do is int I is equals to I is equals to n minus 1 and I is greater than equal to 0 and I minus minus. So पीछे से सामने तरफ जा रहे हैं. Okay, so dp of I is equal to dp of the current value would be equal to dp of I plus 1 plus a of I and d. dp of I plus 1 plus a of I, this is what we would do, and dp of I plus 1. Take the value or we don't take the value. See, the same thing we are doing here. See, so यहाँ पे we have initialized with answer 1 and answer 2. Here we are directly writing it. Okay, and then dp of this particular dp of this one would give our answer. See, this is the recursive iterative implementation of this, not the knapsack because we have removed the weight and the value thing, but you can just attach the weight. See, weight you just handle it explicitly and you would be able to get it. So now tell me if things are clear to you or not. Can you share your LinkedIn username? Yes, my LinkedIn username is Siddharth Hazra. That has just sent you a dot. Thought you forgot. No, I didn't forgot it. Okay, fair enough. So let's wait for the next 1 minute and tell me if things are clear to you or not. By the way, I prepared the problem subset sum also, but as I can observe, we only have 6 minutes left. Okay, so we would chat a little bit and then we would disperse off a little bit, 1 or 2 minutes beforehand. Now there are 1 or 2 more things, but before that, please clarify if you have understood this or not. Okay, and then we would have a recap of whatever we have learned. Then I have few things to tell you, and then we can just disperse this class. Okay, so please tell me if things are clear to you or not. We have 23 participants at the moment. That's absolutely very great. So please tell me. Okay, so let's just see the result of आज प्रपोज डे पे प्रपोज किया. 31% ने आज प्रपोज किया. Okay, and we have 74 votes. ओके, स्ट्रीम देखने बस 23-25 आते हैं और वोट्स देने 75 आते हैं। ओके, ICPC regionalist 2020. ICPC was on a little bit easier side for me. Why? Because I belong from a tier 4 college. So basically only two teams participated in ICPC, three teams participated in ICPC. One was my senior and one was my team and one was the other team. So we just need to compete it with two teams. So tier 4 से ये ICPC वाले tag में थोड़ा help तो मिलता है, to be honest. But apart from this, things are pretty bad for you. You don't get any opportunities. You need to do everything on your own. Everyone would be enjoying, but you need to work on yourself. I have learned today. Thanks a lot. You're most welcome, Sherry. Okay, now one or two more things that I need to tell you. What are the things I would be telling you? The first thing that I want you to is the next 11th session. So the 10th session that were promised, 3 sessions each week, is complete. 21 days was stretched from 21 to 22 days or something. Okay, it was to be complete yesterday, but my sister was going to Kolkata, that's why I was not able to take yesterday. So this is the 22nd day and it's complete. Now the thing is that you need to enroll on the course. Why enroll on the course? Because the 11th session, which would be held tomorrow, would be conducted on Zoom, and an invite would be given to you over mail. The first reason. The second reason is that you would be getting practice questions of this thing. And third thing is that you would be able to ask your queries there. These are the three benefits you would be having. And the fourth and the most important benefit is everything is free. No hidden charges. Absolutely nothing. Now the next thing is that I have a course which would commence from 26th of February, okay, and it is data structures with C++. So if you like my way of teaching, then you can consider buying that course. Use that coupon why to give extra bucks. Use that coupon and there would be live classes on Zoom where you would be able to learn a lot of things. Okay, this was the things that was to be mentioned to you. Okay, do you have emails? Okay, ब्रो एक्सेप्ट कर लेना मेरा। अरे हाँ, अरे मैं फेमस थोड़ी हूँ, मैं आराम से एक्सेप्ट कर लूँगा। बट आई एम, बहाना दोगे सीएम पे? इस पे क्या बहाना दो? नहीं भाई, सीएम पे मेहनत है मेरा, ऐसे मत बोलो भाई मेरा। डू यू हैव मेल्स? यस, आई हैव मेल। ओके, so mail would be sent to you. Okay, so that's it for today. We would have a 2 minutes, okay, 2 minutes recap, as well as you can ask me anything. So kind of ask me anything session. Okay, so ask me anything. It gives a feeling of greatness. Just kidding. Okay, fair enough. So basically what did we learn today? We learned that recursion is basically an optimization of a plain recursion, and then we just learned that recursion is nothing, but we saw that recursion calculates the value multiple number of times. So recursion, so DP बस याद रखता है. And then moving forward, we learned that we need to write iterative DP to save on stack memory. And then moving forward, we learned about the Fibonacci series, the memoization, the tabulation, as well as the memoization. Then moving forward, we learned about knapsack DP. And then there was a problem that was to be scheduled, that was the subset sum. Excuse me, sir, I live in Reno, Nevada. Price of the course. The price of the course, I don't remember. Okay, so but just see to it. Okay, because I live in Reno. It is in which country, Sherry? Us, how would I be able to participate and able to pay? Thank you so much, sir. Okay, they have a option of PayPal. They have a option of PayPal to pay that. Okay, So भैया internship के लिए tips for fifth sem student. See, I am also a fifth sem student. I just gave my fifth sem just 1 or 2 days before. So if you have done a bit of CP, if you have 1 or 2 projects, then what you can do is you can consider solving the previous year question paper and read the past interview experiences as much as possible, and work on your explanation skill, work on your speaking skill, work on your confidence and the soft skill which are needed apart from interview, that are absolutely very necessary. See, अगर तुम्हें आता बहुत कुछ है, but if you are not able to give the right execution, what do I mean by this? You start from the brute force, then you do the suboptimal, then you go to optimal, and then you do the most optimal. This is the way. But if you directly give the most optimal, it doesn't goes that way. And the next thing is that if you are able to do everything but you are not able to explain, and that is of no use. So work on your soft skills too. Otherwise क्या होगा ना कि you would be knowing a lot of things, still you would fail. And I was the patient of this thing. So just try to do that. Okay. So fair enough. So by the way, Sherry, if you have any problem or if you're not able to if you're not able to do not able to pay or something, just send me a request on LinkedIn. I would forward your query to the team and they would take care of that. Okay. So I hope your queries have been answered and I receive no more queries. So still I would wait for the last 1 minute, and this is the final call. So I would end this stream after the 1 minute has elapsed. You're most welcome, Abhijit. For the people who have not done competitive programming or something, or not tried on programming, they should start programming right now. But as of now, don't touch competitive programming. Don't touch it, please. You would be facing a lot of problems. I have a doubt on doing DP problem, how to get the logic. See, DP problem is nothing, but you should be able to think recursively. So if you have a problem, सर चैट स्पैम कर सकता हूँ, करो ना भाई, करो, इतना बोरिंग तो लगता है, बस सब आते लगता है पढ़ने ही आया है, कोई तो मस्ती करता ही नहीं है. आप लोग भी करो, मैं भी करूँगा. Fair enough. So अगर if you have any problems in DP, just what you can do is you can first have a good hold over recursion. To have a good hold over recursion, solve good problems over backtracking, trees, linked list, and then come to recursion. Okay. आज सत्यव्रत पूरे रोमांटिक मूड में है. Okay. भाई थर्ड सेम से भैया थर्ड सेम से कैसे प्रिपेयर करें प्रोडक्ट बेस के लिए? थर्ड सेम, दिस इज योर थर्ड सेम, कंसिडर डूइंग कम्पिटिटिव प्रोग्रामिंग प्लीज. ऑल कम्पिटिटिव यूज सीपीपी इन इंडिया, पाइथन इन फॉरेन, एंड हम जावा में लगे पड़े, क्या करें? स्विच टू सीपीपी. सी द थिंग इज दैट if you are good with Java, you are already in the industry. So in industry, most of the work is done in Java. Okay, but why people still consider CPP? I was also a Java coder. I belong from ICC background, so I was also a Java coder. But what happened was all the tutorials, everything, all the video tutorials, everything is on CPP. That's why I had to switch. But Java is absolute champ, but the thing is that you need to write a lot. Okay, that is the problem. And Python thing is that Python has a slow execution time. The online compilers are well optimized, but sometimes during online coding assessment, this thing is not done. That's why you face a little bit of difficulty. Thank you so much, sir. You have a great evening. It's 10 a.m. Yeah, Pacific. Yeah, in the USA. You're most welcome. Yeah, thanks a lot. Good morning, by the way, Sherry. Can you suggest me some good websites for doing DP problems? Yeah, you go to USACO guide. This is the best website. So whenever you try to learn any CP coding thing, just go to USACO guide. If you prefer reading text over videos. So if you are a kind of person who prefer text over videos, then go to USACO guide. Okay, Java competitive में Java time खाता है bro, a little bit, but the compilers are well optimized. Okay, so you don't need to. You're most welcome, Abhishek. Sir, does year gap after college is considered bad if someone is improving DSA from a tier 3 college? See, to be honest, if you have not improved, it would provide a setback. But if you have improved, देन कोई नहीं देखता कि तुम टायर 4 से हो, कहाँ से हो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। मैं खुद टायर 4 से हूँ तभी बोल रहा हूँ, ट्रस्ट में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। कंपनी को सिर्फ स्किल मैटर करती है, सिर्फ और सिर्फ स्किल। अगर आपके पास स्किल्स है, इफ यू हैव दिस स्किल यू वुड गेट पेड, डोंट वरी, उतना सोचो ही मत। सर आई गॉट अ ऑफर फ्रॉम HCL एंड आई हैव अनदर फ्रॉम TCS, विच इज द बेस्ट ऑफर? ऑब्वियसली HCL इज बेस्ट ऑफर। पैकेज भी बताओ भाई। देखना, पैकेज बोल के डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन मत हो जाना। ओके, so that's it for today. Okay, I hope TCS का, I hope if it is a digital one, I think it is 7. If it is the Ninja one, it is 3.5. HCL का नहीं पता। Okay, so good night everyone. Okay, इंटर्नशिप कैसे फाइंड करे? इंटर्नशिप कैसे फाइंड करे पता है? एक अच्छा तरीका बताऊं, आई लर्न दिस फ्रॉम लव बब्बर। what you can do is you can search for hashtags. Okay, just go to LinkedIn, search for hash internship, hashtag hiring, and follow those two hashtags. So whenever someone would post a internship thing or a hiring, so he would use that hashtag and that would automatically come to you. Okay, and just what you can do is you can follow the person who are regularly posting about internships, hiring or something. Okay, do ask me watching 53 पे है देखो, yeah 44, yeah. The thing is that I am a little bit conscious that क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है कि टायर 4 का बंदा यहाँ के बोलेगा तो कौन क्या सुनेगा। ओके सर, प्रोजेक्ट आइडिया दे दीजिए। नो, डोंट टेक प्रोजेक्ट आइडियाज फ्रॉम मी, because the thing is that I'm extremely bad in development. That is the thing. So don't consider taking project ideas from me. Neither did I do open source. I'm just an SDE. My tech stack I can't reveal, but I'm good with React JS web development. See, if you have less time, you can consider learning web development. Okay. So that's it. It seems. Any more questions? Still, we have many questions today. So I would still again wait for the next 1 minute after I have stopped. Good night. Good night. Same sir. But still, you can consider learning web development, because जब मैं react कर रहा था तो I had a lot of offers. Basically, they were very small to be honest, but I had a lot of offers. तो वेब डेवलपमेंट अभी भी डिमांड में है। आई नो एवरी अदर पर्सन इज डूइंग वेब डेवलपमेंट, बट इफ यू हैव अ गुड कमांड ऑफ web development, then you would be able to cross it. You're most welcome. Shabba khair. Good night. Good night. Shabba khair. Okay, so we have 15 seconds more. I hope it's done for the today. So that's it for today. Good night.